Hello, good afternoon, folks. It's wonderful to be with all of you today here. My session, the topic given to me is how chatbots can help improve accounting, finance, efficiency, and thereby also reduce costs and help in multifarious ways. I think before we begin, I think we need to understand that chatbots have completely transformed the way in which the digital transformation of finance and accounting can be planned. And before we begin, I think it's important to understand the basic difference between what's a robot and how is it different from a bot. So a robot is a programmable machine that most often looks more like a human being. And it can solve multiple problems for us. It can do the assigned tasks for us. A bot can pretty much do what a robot can do, but it's not got a body. So it gets assimilated or fitted into a system, right? And within bots, then there are multiple types of bots. So you've got chatbots, which we are talking about today. We've got code bots that write computer programs. We've got crawl bots, which just do web scraping and web surfing, and rank websites in whatever order that has been assigned to it. We've also got audit bots that are now taking up like internal audit functionality. Have you ever wondered how Google operates? It's supported by something called Google Bots. That's not a chat bot, but it's more like a crawl bot in that it helps rank the websites in the order of significance whenever a user types in some words. So let's begin today's session. I'll just quickly share my screen here. So there's a presentation disclaimer. It's purely for illustrative purpose, and views expressed here are my personal views. Please exercise your own professional judgment. Expectation setting is, this is an evolving primer. It's just an introduction. It's less technical, thereby making it jargon free. There's a pictorial representation to help aesthetics and appeal. There are fresher perspectives which I have tried to encapsulate within my presentation, so it becomes easy to understand and apply. So what is this? Is it something wrong? No, it's a clean slate called Tabula Rasa in Latin. So I invite all my viewers to, for once, have a clean slate mind, not have any predefined logics or understanding. Just let's look at it from a naive perspective. Yeah. So finance today is a very vast subject. It definitely cannot, be sort of delivered in any length of symposiums or deliberations. What we are trying to do is to just touch upon a tip of a big bug, which is called finance here. So what is business finance? Business finance is an art and science of managing the financial resources of a business. Mind the word "and" here, the conjunction, which is very important, because finance or any other business sort of skill has always been and will always be an admixture of both art and science. So it is a science because all the modern methodologies or the models or the methods that we use today, from Black-Scholes model to capitalist pricing model, whatever we use in terms of efficient market theory is all based on science. Having said that, there's always also the art part, because there's always a decoupling between the pure sort of scientific sense and how markets behave, or how the financials shape up. So there's always going to be an art part of it also, which is very significant. And that's why you see behavioral finance playing its part. So if business finance has always been and will always be an admixture of art and science, is there a way that we can automate the science part of the business sense or the business finance? There is, and that can be done by combining artificial intelligence in the very simplest form of it being chatbot in our day-to-day sort of routine, mundane tasks operations. Another way of looking at it is, I think in today's world, for anything to be successful, the sweet success formula is it has to be rightly and timely tech-enabled at the inception, and it has got to have the perfect financial blueprint as an end objective in mind. If you have this combination right at inception and as an end objective, like a means and an end, everything else falls in place by itself, be it marketing, operations, legal, strategy, HR kind of thing, right? So even if you look at it from a tech fin or fintech perspective, the tech part of it is better done more so by the bots. So we've looked at it from two perspectives, right? So before we look at the evolution of chatbots, let's make the thematic sort of statement that chatbots today are powering the digital transformation of finance and accounting. Now let's look at the evolution of chatbots. So chatbots were first introduced in the market as a simple digital tool in the year 2010. It was introduced as a smart way to handle repetitive tasks, and thereby it reduced the time spent on generic customer queries that enhanced productivity. Come 2015, and chatbots became a conversational analytics platform. So with continuous learning and through advanced NLP capabilities, users could analyze the data and get real-time insights. And now in 2020, chatbots more likely can be categorized as digital employees or new age contact executives. They can perform multiple tasks on their own without any human intervention. You can manage tasks both with voice, text, and chats, right? And chatbot industry is predicted to reach almost $6 billion by 2023 by a market sort of study. And it's just a natural evolution of the way online services are provided today by businesses to the consumers. So it gives a more human sort of element. It gives an empathy kind of the front face, and it is ready to use at any time. There is speed, there is accuracy, there is security. It costs less. You can call it as ATB, which is like anytime business. It's unbiased, it's practical, it can be user defined. It is reliable in that there is no attrition that we need to be worried of. And when you look at the cost benefit analysis, there's a huge sort of value proposition. We will cover that in terms of what generally are the basic costs of development for a chatbot. So what are the basic benefits of bot? Now this list is not exhaustive, but you can see here that it not only helps in enhancing your revenue and reducing your costs, but it also leads to better service, a greater efficiency, and also the analytics can be used for superior business planning. So from a business perspective, from a revenue or cost angle, it helps in lead generation and sales recommendation. It helps reducing cost, which is time cost, efforts cost, people, and even the opportunity cost, because time is everything today. From a better service perspective, there's a 24/7 customer service. Answering repeat queries can be very efficiently handled by a bot. Complaints processing and even the refunds sort of processing can be fantastic. And there is from an efficiency perspective, there's order tracking and raising the support tickets, answering repeat queries with deep learning or machine learning, in that the bots can be trained how to handle the mundane sort of questions. And if there are things that they cannot handle, it can be escalated to the supervisor, which is a human being. From an analytics perspective, bots can be used to have sort of an integrated analytics dashboard, which helps in better business planning. So let's look at an example of an analytics dashboard. Now these are sort of the parameters that can be shown on the analytics dashboard. You can show total users, active users, new users, customer satisfaction ratings, spend analysis, credit scoring, sentiment assessment, feedback submissions, number of chat connections and chat duration, the response time, number of unanswered chats, chatbot fallback responses, and so on and so forth. So if you look at it from an efficiency or cost perspective, you can say that how chatbots help in improving the accounting and finance efficiency and thereby reducing costs. So 40% of repetitive accounting and finance tasks can be effectively automated by using bots. 90% increase in accuracy can be achieved, and 50% reduction in payroll costs can be achieved because it then can replace a lot of sort of lower level clerical sort of jobs, right? So bots can efficiently help the finance and accounting departments in the document process automation solutions. It can automate manual accounting tasks like data collection, data entry, as well as the consolidation and transfer from one application to another. They can streamline important processes from procurement and purchasing to supplier onboarding. And finance and accounting teams can leverage on chatbots to complete the periodical closings and reconciliations faster, freeing time for the higher level decision making for themselves. So what are the best bots? Are there any unique features that we can think of? So a good bot should have a fabulous conversation user experience. It should be omni-channel. When I say omni-channel, it should be sort of present on the website, like a mobile app, and it should also be able to sort of integratable with like Facebook Messenger and all those other channels. It should be multilingual because your consumer base can be speaking different languages. So when I say multilingual, then also the NLP part comes here, which the natural language learning and understanding. Then instant gratification and instant assistance is of key value because time is very important. And these days, the customers will not wait, to complete long forms. So, for example, bots can help in, pre-populating some of the key fields, right? And the consumer has to just look at it and then click. Bots can help in lead generation and thereby closing the sales better. And they also help in conversion ratio improving, right? Analytics dashboard that we saw in the previous slide. But one very important thing is, the safe protocols are very important, particularly in the banking industry, insurance industry, because the kind of data that is handled there is very sensitive. It is prone to attacks. So, a bot having a safe protocol at the background is very important. The empathy sentiment analysis is very important as artificial intelligence is developing from a deep learning and human learning perspective. Bots can show up a very empathetic face as the first end contact. And one more very important thing is it should not be static. It should be dynamic with rich media. In that it can show some videos, it can show some radio buttons. There's an option to click rather than the consumer having to type everything. It should have emoticons. So just to make the whole conversation that much more lively, engaging, and users don't feel the burden in scraping through the website or any form of front-facing interface that the business has. Yeah, so it leads to an enjoyable experience, and that helps in the brand loyalty and the repeat customers. Now, here's an example of bots being used in the banking industry. So today you can use bots in banking industry to check your account balances. It can tell you about the branch and ATM locations. You can report your lost or stolen cards. It can help in processing all the AML and KYC documents for the initial loan processing. It can help in suggesting options for the best product or service purchase. It can help in feedback collection, and it can also help in investment advisory if required. In an insurance industry, bots can help in the insurance policy plans comparison. If you want to buy a policy add-on, right? It can show your policy details, everything from the policy number, the expiry, the due date of the next payment. It can also help in the payment collection and also the reminder generation. And then it can report incidents, including the claims processing. It can customize the premium based upon the past history of claims and based upon the user profile. And it can also, like a banking, it can also provide insurance advisory. Now, there's a study done by Oxford University in London. And based on that, the study claims that finance has more jobs at high risk of automation than any skilled industry, and that's higher than 50%. And that's primarily because of the degree to which the industry is built on processing information, and a lot of it can be automated. The same study then goes on to say that the number of employees at American banks would drop to 1.8 million people by 2025, which will be down from 2.6 million in 2015 and 2.9 million before the financial crisis. So this is about the American banks. The situation about the European banks is even grimmer. So there, the job cut as a negative can be sort of, even more negative in terms of, job losses in the European banks. There's also a study done by McKinsey and Company. So McKinsey estimates the potential value of personal financial assets that can be served by virtual advice, being robo-advisors, at 13.5 trillion US dollars. And if this industry is thriving the way it is in the investment sort of domain, there will be multiple job losses in financial advisory being taken care of by the robo-advisors in the future. So these are the job negative impact of bots, but it has got to be a mix, right? So what are the development metrics, right? How much does it cost to develop a bot? So that really depends upon whether it's frequently asked questions or FAQ based bot, or it's just a conversation bot, or you want the bot to be able to process transactions for you. So it's a transaction processing bot, or the bots can be even helpful in sort of prediction based on the user profile, the sentiment analysis, the market trends, and all the market macroeconomic sort of dynamics. But broadly, the basic upfront cost of development of a bot can range anywhere from 25,000 to 30,000 US dollars. That in UAE dirhams, let's say you can assume like 100,000 to 150,000 dirhams max, I think, at the upfront. And thereafter, it depends on the user-defined sort of required sort of features to be built in there. There could be a subscription model where you can initially pay a lower cost and then pay every month. It depends totally upon company to company. What is forgotten in the whole thing is the intangible quotient sort of enhancement. Now, if you look at it, the world over today, intangibles today contribute about 87% of the total market capitalization of a lot of leading companies. And generally, people talk about how bots can save costs and how they can help in better financials and cost benefit analysis, which are all tangible. But I would say that it helps a lot in the intangible quotients also. So the trademarks or the brand name behind it can have better customer recall, better brand loyalty. The software codes that you develop for people, for companies that develop in-house sort of bots, that becomes a very key intangible. The customer lists, which represent customer loyalty, the databases based on that, the vendor relationships or the customer relationships can become all very useful intangible quotients. But if you want to look at just the trademarks part of it, and thereby big brands behind such trademarks, I think there are some elements that we should touch upon where bots can help enhance the intangible quotient. They can contribute towards that in an intangible manner, which is generally not visible to the normal eye. So there's a consumer engagement, which the consumers enjoy. There's instant gratification or instant service, so consumers don't have to wait in a queue, for example. There's a better sales conversion ratio based on the consumer engagement and pre-populating the form, suggesting options, almost taking the avatar of a digital personal assistant, which is free of cost. There's thereby a better brand loyalty and thereby repeat sales. There's a better customer service, which is not only better, but it's also available 24/7. And the most important part is empathy, where the bots, as time goes by with their experience, they are able to better understand their users' individual customized needs, their support structure, what is the best thing for them, not just from a financial or a tangible perspective, but also from an emotional perspective. That's very important. Last but not the least, I would say that in these times of COVID-19, technology has made mankind 5 years younger, in that there are a lot of technological advancements or technological channels that we've had to rely upon in these times, which we would have otherwise, taken more time to get our hands and, get used to. So, for example, in COVID-19, the business focus has shifted from, earlier the focus was on growing the business, and then the focus came to, at least I should be making profits. I want to sell at more than my cost price. And then the focus shifted to forget whether I am able to sell at profit or not. I should be able to make some revenue or not. And then as the COVID era is, going month after the other, the focus is now shifted from generating revenue to at least, you're able to survive, whereby you can meet your expenses and the liabilities on time. So you can imagine in such difficult times of COVID-19, bots as an interface with all these qualitative aspects and value enhancement qualities, whether tangible or intangible, that we have talked about, have been fundamental or instrumental in the businesses running through, in the businesses going on as usual, life going on as usual for the common people. And I end my presentation with this slide, because otherwise it's going to get too long. But I've conveyed some key messages in terms of how bots have transformed digitally the finance and accounting function. So this bot revolution, which has begun, there's no stopping it now. And I once again want to thank Terrapinn and Ms. Rion for this opportunity. And I just stop sharing, and thank you for this wonderful opportunity. God bless all of you.